They got Shaquille Barrett, Devin White. These are all big names 7 years ago, right?
Right.
7 years ago. So the problem with like this is, I mean, yes, you have to respect Sue some, you have to respect JPP some, but once Vita Vea starts having a breakout season, what are they going to do? They're going to double team him because they're going to see that Sue is not as fast as he used to be on the outside. JPP isn't as fast as he was on the outside either. So I don't think. I mean, defensive linemen are hard to measure sleepers because do you measure them off of stats, or do you measure them? Hey, he's taking up 2 blockers to free Devin White. So if you want to classify as that as a sleeper pick, as yes, he's going to take two blockers on every play, then yes, I will agree with you on that. Now, if you say he's going to have 50, 60 tackles, no, I don't think he'll get like he'll do that.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm just looking for more of a complimentary. Like, if he can take up 2 tackles, that frees up Shaq Barrett crashing down the outside if they go that route with a blitz or using him, and that just opens up more for Shaq Barrett. Like, yes, you want personal player stats to go up, but you need team stats to go up in order to win.
The eye test.
Yes. So, last in the NFC South, for the Carolina Panthers, I went with rookie defensive tackle Derek Brown. He was the best graded defensive tackle in this past year's draft. Can he transition that talent into the NFL? And then you also look at, with this first-year coach and Matt Rule, is Matt Rule going to have the right scheme for him on this defense?
So the one thing positive about defensive players is usually they transfer well over to the NFL. You can only rush so many times. There's only so many swim moves. There's only so many spin moves. Now, as far as the personnel packages and like if he'll get put in the right position, they still have a very good defensive coach. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but he has been around the league for quite a while. Matt Rule did a good job of picking him up, and I think the Carolina Panthers defense will surprise some people, and I think this guy will have one of those sleeper years. Yes, his game will transition well over to the NFL. I mean, he's 320 pounds. He's going to be tough to move just standing there. So any athletic ability that like he has is just an improvement on that side. Like, he'll be fine.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So, last but not least division, we had the NFC West. And let's start with the Super Bowl runner-ups, the San Francisco 49ers. Now, they have one heck of a defense, and I feel like they did nothing but get better over the last season. They lost to Forrest Buckner. I still think they're a top 10, top 5 defense for sure. So the player that I'm watching is Fred Warner. Now, who doesn't like a guy named Fred?
Right.
I don't know. I don't know many Freds that I'm like, I'm not a big fan of him. But I think in that position, in that middle linebacker position, you're kind of like that commander of the defense, and you see. I feel like you see a lot of times when teams are rebuilding, that player is besides the quarterback, it's one of the most important players most important positions to draft well. So I'm interested to see whether or not this defense can continue on this next season, and can he continue to bring this defense together and maintain that defensive ranking kind of near the top of the league.
Yeah, he is going to do all those things because of look at the people he has in front of him, taking up all that loose meat. Like, you have Nick Bosa, you have Javon Kinlaw, like up there, two really, really great athletes that is going to allow him to run free. And me being a former linebacker myself, I loved when I had a 400-pound defensive tackle taking up two blockers and I could run free. Yeah. He is going to get to run free a lot this season with Nick Bosa and Javon Kinlaw taking up many blockers. A offense is going to scheme around those two guys, giving the linebackers free range. He's going to have a great year. And the San Francisco 49ers have history of darn good linebackers. I mean, he's going to follow in those footsteps and have a great year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. I 100% agree with that. So, moving on to the Seahawks. You know, they almost beat the Bears for a number of tight ends on the team. So I'm just going to watch all the tight ends and see what happens. Because it seems like to me, anytime I watch a Seahawks game, Russell Wilson's running for his life.
Yeah.
Because there's no short pass game. And he's got to run away from the defender because the line failed him. And then he's got to heave it down the field because that's the only open receiver. Like, where are these tight ends that can't just run that shallow route, and then Russell Wilson can just dump it off? The tight end's open, you run a hook up the sideline, and you get what you get.
Right. Greg Olsen's going to have a huge year for the Seattle Seahawks. Why? Because that is how he's made all of his money on these teams that he has been with, are these short and immediate passing games. Play breaks down. He breaks off to like an out route, taps toes the sideline, boom, 5-6 yards. Yeah. Plus, they got two big name receivers, two fast receivers, big receivers. Tyler Lockett's. I mean, he isn't big in stature, but he is big in playmaking ability. And what's the other guy? DK Metcalf. He's like 6'6", 240 pounds. I mean, Greg Olsen is going to feast this year. Get him in fantasy 100%.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it'll be. I feel like for years you've always just, there goes Russell Wilson running down the field because he had to run away from the defender. Like, you just want to see a more complete team. Like, don't let the plays fall apart. Get that, and like you said, Greg Olsen probably gonna have a really good year there because he's the veteran presence all those other tight ends are gonna need to know how to play a defense. And
I think they drafted a tight end too, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I want to say they did. So, they had a couple young guys last year, I thought. But, they got quite a big tight end room there. All right. Moving on to the Rams. Kind of similar to where I was looking with the Seahawks. I went with Tyler Higbee, the tight end. He hasn't had, breakout star stats, but his stats over the last couple of years, they're always getting better. And I really want to see how he can take the next step. Kind of similar to the tight ends in Seattle. How can Tyler Higbee help Jared Goff stay average? Because that's all I see Jared Goff as is an average quarterback.
Unfortunately, I think Tyler Higbee is going to take a step back this season because of they lost the running back. What is his name? Todd Gurley. He went to the Falcons. Everybody has caught up to Sean McVay's play calling. You know, Sean McVay's kind of a flash in the pan, just like Jared Goff kind of a flash in the pan. You want to talk about a quarterback running for their lives this year? Jared Goff is going to be it. And unfortunately, he is just not football IQ enough to look for Tyler Higbee in that dump down situation. He is always going to want to push the ball down the field to Cooper Kupp, and unfortunately, Higbee is going to suffer this season.
Yeah, and I think that's why he hasn't had phenomenal stats the last couple of years. So I mean, he could just be that lower end stat tight end, and
if he was on any other team, I think he would have a breakout year. But the fact that he's on a Rams that's going to finish 2-12 or 2-14, I should say. I mean, it sucks for him.
The snow is melting and it's starting to warm.
Is this for the new commercial?
This is the new commercial. We're recording. Why is it you always cut me off?
Guys, calm down. Let's just start it over.
It's too late. We have to start our show, which is Twist, the weekend sports talk, where you can hear banter like this with sports and interviews. Hear us on the RTF Sports Network, Mondays at 8 Eastern. Also, like our page on RTF Sports Network and check us out at rtfsportsnetwork.com. The snow is melting and it's starting to warm.
Is this for the new commercial?
This is the new commercial. We're recording. Why is it you always cut me off?
Guys, calm down. Let's just start it over.
It's too late. We have to start our show, which is Twist, the weekend sports talk, where you can hear banter like this with sports and interviews. Hear us on the RTF Sports Network, Mondays at 8 Eastern. Also, like our page on RTF Sports Network and check us out at rtfsportsnetwork.com.
Today, answers matter more than ever before. That's why IBM is helping businesses manage customer questions with Watson Assistant. It's conversational AI designed to work for any industry. Let's put smart to work. Visit ibm.com/Watson Assistant.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Well, actually say good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Let's Be Real Sports, episode 101. Of course, this is solo dolo time because Joe is not here. Brother Joe is not here. Hopefully he'll be back next week. But I think I have some few topics over here that can, smooth things over until he comes back. First of all, I would like to say, of course, I'd like to thank everyone who gave shout outs to this LBRS show for our 100th episode. We thank you very, very, very much for letting us come into your homes, your computers, your Androids for 100 episodes. I enjoy doing this. We enjoy doing this, and we hope to bring you more. Hopefully, we'll get back into the studio and bring you the new studio and bring you more good content from a substantial studio. For now, we'll deal with what we'll deal with. So let's get into it. Our first topic today is the NBA probably won't be taking off as planned. Now over the past week, the NBA looked like it was all set for July, the ending of July, to get things going, to get things rolling for the season, to have this little march down all the way to October into December where the new season would begin. But in recent days, guys like Kyrie Irving and Dwight Howard have sparked a newer conversation stemming from how this might not even be the time for basketball right now, given with everything going on in the world. And to a degree, they're correct. I mean, you have a pandemic going on in the midst of all the social injustice going on. You have a pandemic going on, and it just feels like it doesn't. To me personally, it doesn't feel right. Do I want to see NBA basketball again? Of course I do. Who doesn't want to see? I see all my friends on all types of social media wanting to see NBA basketball again. But you really have to really look at it from a standpoint like, man, on one end, these players have to protect their families from getting a virus or whatever the case may be. They have to protect their families, and they've taken a risk by even going down there in the first place to go down to Florida and play in that bubble, so to speak. And it is a really scary thought. But also, you have the other hand with everything going on, with everything racial going on, with the George Floyds, and the other brother that got shot the last night. I forget his name at the moment, but Dwight Howard said something very profound, like, and I'm paraphrasing him, basically saying, "This is not the time." And he says, even although he wants to win a championship so bad, he says winning the fight against equality is more important. And I agree with him on that because, well, there'll always be basketball. Basketball will always be there. But this chance right here to change the course of history, with all the statues going down, people really standing up and fighting for Black people in general, it's lending a more ear to it. It's lending more to the people to say, hey, maybe we don't need basketball right now. Maybe we don't need basketball. And then Kyrie came on. Kyrie. He's always been a fire starter, that Kyrie. Always been that fire starter. But again, you have to think about it like, what are we really doing? You have a lot of black brothers out there playing the game of basketball, who love the game of basketball. But guys like Carmelo Anthony, guys like Damian Lillard, they pose their concerns, not only politically, but also during pandemic about what's going on and how this is going to take place. How are we going to keep everybody safe? It's like everything is just crossing in between, and no one just knows what to do. And then the NBA is just scrambling now to find out what they can do to, really have a perfect balance in trying to play these games to get these things going forward. Now, everything's driven by money, of course. We know that. And the money is driving to why they want to get out there and play the games, or whatever the case may be. I mean, of course, it's a great distraction. Sports has always been a great distraction for everything, good or bad in another sense. But the way people see it now is like this is a money grab. The NBA is trying to recruit their money. And I mean, it's a business. We understand that. But at the same time, everything is just going on and just intertwining. Is like you're so confused about what, and even players now, they're confused about what they want to do and how they want to do it. I hope for them they are safe in doing what they're doing, and that they talk with their families about going down there. Because it's also been said like probably after maybe the first round of the playoffs, whatever, that, some of the families can come down to Orlando and be with the teams and stuff, be with their loved ones and stuff of that nature. And it's a real it's a real scary thing. I mean, this thing's real, man. This thing is so real, and everybody's trying to find their balance. Hopefully, they will find that balance in time and in due time. But I'm really leaning towards what Dwight's saying. And even though everybody wants to play basketball, like, is this the time really to go out there and play basketball right now? Given everything that's going on. Like, there's a vibe out there right now. And I don't know if anybody can feel it, but there's a vibe out there right now that maybe these games shouldn't be played. Like, it don't feel right. It don't feel like that's a natural thing for things to just head on in without everything being settled down and everything like that. I mean, I'm sitting here thinking about it now, like, damn, and I'm not making money like that. How would I feel me wanting to go out there? Now, everybody got to work, everybody got to make money, stuff like that. But is it worth your life? Also, is playing basketball worth what's going on in our country today, right now, with all these protests worldwide? Basketball is a global sport, of course, and it would help a lot in everything going on. But at the same time, it's like it's a big issue going on right now. That there's a big elephant in the room that has to be addressed. It truly has to be addressed, and I would say it again, I agree with Dwight in a sense. The vibe's not right. It's just not right now. It's draining. Like I told you a couple weeks ago, this thing is very draining, man. Dealing with two pandemics at one time. It's very draining, but we're enduring nonetheless. And I'm pretty sure Dwight wants to get out there and win his championship, try to attempt to win a championship for himself. But again, it's just like we need closure to this. We need some type of, everything has to be resolved before anybody goes out there starts playing, talking about, hey, we happy about seeing LeBron playing and everybody playing. We, of course, we're happy seeing these guys playing. Some are not happy seeing them playing. But the safety comes first. That's what I've always said about anything. Your life and your health come first. And I hope the NBA and the Players Association can truly get together and find true common ground, so they can go out there and play. But if not, it's just best that everybody just stay cool, be cool, relax, and just let everything play out first. Let's let everything play out first, because the last thing you want is someone getting affected, or dealing with some type of other racial thing that might go like blast this thing way out the water now that it already is already. You know. So I truly hope cooler heads prevail in all this, and I hope these guys can really get out there and hopefully get something together. You know, it's a strange time we live in, folks. A strange time we live in, but again, you gotta push through. You gotta push through. And that's it for my first topic. The second topic is a topic I put on my blog page a couple of days ago, which got a lot of traction. And again, I thank you, the people, for your comments, your likes, and even your honest comments about what's going on with this next topic. Mikey Williams, 6'3" guard out of San Diego. He scored 77 points. He scored 77 points, breaking the California school record for most points in a game. He recently came out and said that he wouldn't mind going to a historically black college to play basketball. Again, Mikey Williams is ranked number 3. He's only 15 years old right now in high school. But the fact that he would even bring about going to a historically black college is very intriguing, because you don't see it at all. With big time NCAA March Madness and everything going on, a lot of historical black colleges, they don't see this type of exposure. And for a historically black college to go get this type of a caliber or talent of player, it would change the paradigm. Now, I've heard people say, since I posted this, like, if it's only him and no one else, it's just like it's really nothing. But I always say, it only takes one. It only takes one guy to change the whole paradigm shift, because this is big. This is big. I mean, his mother went to Hampton University, as a matter of fact, who really put that in his brain a little bit. But like I said, and I always tell people this, he's only 15. A lot of things can change in 3 years, as we've seen so far, unfortunately. But a lot of things can change in 3 years. So what it would do for a circle back? It would put them on the map. It would fuse the money. I've always said the talent will bring any TV crew around, any sports marketing thing, any sports production around. ESPN, Fox Sports. If you have the talent, if you have that type of talent, they will come, no matter where you are. I look at a guy like John Morant. This guy was nice with Zion, and he played with Zion. But Zion got the top bill because he could leap, he could jump, he had a little Jimmy. But John Morant was that point guard that you like, oh snap, he's there, but you didn't notice at first until he went to Murray State. And then you saw him on Murray State. Is not a big time school, of course, but his talent got got the school on TV. Literally got the school on TV, and he just changed everything from there. So if John Morant, who wasn't even a thought, can do that, Mikey Williams, who is a top 3 prospect right now, can really start to move the kid and bring the money back into the black colleges around this country. It's not far-fetched as people may seem. Now, a lot of people will say, well, they're not Duke, they're not Kentucky, Michigan State, or quote unquote, I've heard some people say they don't have the money to get them. Now, this is not blue chips. I know Zion going through some blue chips type of situation right now with the boosting and the money and all that stuff. But we would hope that is not the case. But then again, people are not dumb. They see what's going on, and somebody's gonna get caught up in that shit anyway. Who's gonna take the fall for all that? Who knows? But Mikey Williams is setting a precedent. And listen, Mikey Williams can start recruiting right now if he really wants to. If he really wants to be that true pioneer, he can recruit guys going from the all top 5 through the top 10, and get these guys to come and get them to come to historic black college to put money back in the historic black colleges who need this type of exposure, who would love to get this type of exposure. Yes. It'd be a great thing. It'd be an awesome thing. It can happen. It can really, really, really change the way we see college sports. And I know there's a lot of detect like, yeah, right, whatever, but you got to try. Listen, the Fab Five got together. They recruited each other, and the world of college basketball shifted around Michigan. Granted, again, there was scandal behind it, whatever, but it happened. Hopefully, scandal does not follow these guys. This is just a, hey, we're going to get these guys in here. They're going to play to the best of their ability. And a lot of people say, well, he's going to be a one and done player if his talent exceeds that. Well, true. But you got to look at this also. The NCAA in Florida, I think in Florida now, I believe they passed a law to help to get these players paid in Florida. And also have it in California as well. So before long, everybody's going to be getting paid. The G League's playing top billing right now. They have a few players who foregoing college and going straight to the G League. But everybody's not a G League player. Everybody's not a G League player. So you got to take that into consideration. If Mikey does this and he decides to go to the black college, he might be there for 1 year, he might be there for 2 years. Because remember, back in the day, if you got somebody, you got them for 3-4 years. And I believe Tim Duggan was the last true 4-year star guy to really stay 4 years in college and really blossom and groom his game out. Now these days, this is more like a microwave. College basketball is like a microwave league now. Like, if you're super good, you're one and done. Boom, you're in the league already. 1, 2, 3. You got 1 year and you're done. We knew Zion wasn't coming back for the second year. That was BS. We knew that. Even when he got injured, there was a chance, maybe he would stay back and, do a second year, but that wasn't happening. Injury or not, he wasn't going to stay. With Mikey, it might be a little bit different. Like I said, he can recruit the players. Hey, listen, at this point, in the NCAA might as well start paying these players now anyway. Cut all this amateurism out. It's farce. It's a farce. Pay these players. And you have a system where, because eventually they're going to have to team up with the G League anyway, because college basketball cannot end up losing the top talent to the G League, and they have no product out there to put out there in the first place. It's going to look very bare, and people, like I said, people respond to talent. They just respond to talent. And you got to put the talent out there on the floor for them to want to come spend money to come see your school and see these guys play. They come and see these guys play, which is even more of an incentive to pay these guys. These guys that come out there risking their life and limb out there for the school. School's making millions and millions and millions of dollars. And these kids can't get nothing. They're on that room and board thing. It ain't going to work like that forever. At some point, the levee's going to break, and the levees are starting to break now because 2 states already have agreed to, hey, we'll pay you. It's okay to get paid. We're not going to sanction you. We're not going to suspend you or anything like that. And eventually, all the colleges around the country are going to do that, and it's going to divide it up a little bit. The top schools might become their own conference, and the rest of schools might have their own conference. It's going to get wild and crazy. But while Mikey Williams is out there, and as long as there's a branch extended to the solid black colleges, there's a chance for it to happen, for them to get that money, to get that, notoriety going on. And it might trailblaze a whole set of players to come to these historically black colleges and finally get something suitable for them. See, March Madness is usually the proving ground for everything, but of course you don't have March Madness this year, and this is why this is all coming about now. It's crazy how things just come about in the way, exposing things out there left and right. But for Mikey, I would tell Mikey, I think he should do it. I think Mikey should do it. Why not? Why not you? Hey, even if you go there for 1 year, even if you go there for 1 year, you bet your bottom dollar other kids will look at it like, hey, if he can do it, I can do it. I can actually do it even better. It can raise the level of who's going there. And eventually, maybe a top recruit, the number one recruit, might end up going to a historically black college. Switching the paradigm shift again. It's not out of the realm of possibility, folks. It really is not. I wouldn't mind seeing it. Now I know a lot of schools, they go out there, they get paid to go play against these schools for 1 year. But why not have the schools come play you instead? Why everybody got to go to Duke? Why everybody got to go to UNC? Why everybody go to Kansas, Oklahoma, Villanova? Why they all got to come up there and get paid for them, get paid a little bits of money for the TV time, but they can sit there and just garner all the revenue and have the teams come down to them? Because everybody wants exposure at the end of the day. Every school in the country wants exposure to get this school into that top tier school. Like, yeah, we got to come here. We have to come here and make it happen. So I'm gonna be very intrigued. In 3 years' time, hopefully he sticks with the path. If not, again, he's a kid. He's saying this as a kid. Everybody has a right to change their mind about everything. He's a young man. He has a lot of options out there. So much options out there for him, basketball-wise. He can go overseas for all we know and say, "F all that, I'll go overseas. Play on my time and come back, head right to the draft." LaMelo did it, and LaMelo right now is a very high prospect coming out. Mikey could go to the G League and start making money there. I mean, it's a lot of options for this kid. I'm happy that he has these type of options to begin with. As most of those kids in the top 10, they have their options of doing what they want to do with their basketball careers going forward. But I would strongly suggest for them also, hey, look into it. You never know. And like I said, it's not like college football or college. Like, college football is different. You feel me? College football, you got mad more scholarships, and like there's only a certain amount of teams you can really go to who have that cash pull, that cachet pull. In college basketball, the talent pool is pretty baseline flat. You don't have to always go. You always have to go to the top school per se. You don't always have to go to the top school. And there's a lot of guys. There's a slew of guys who didn't go to the top schools. Dame Lillard, he didn't go to the top school. I'm trying to think of another one. CJ McCollum, he didn't go to the top school. Ben Wallace, NBA champion, he didn't go to the top school. He wasn't that scoring type of all-world player too, but he was playing defense. He got rebounds, and eventually helped the team win the championship. And he came from a small school. So it's not all around the possibility that this cannot happen. But hopefully, and again, hopefully, he makes the jump. And I just want to see the excitement around it, the build, the essence of it all. Like, it would just be a groundbreaking thing. It can transcend a lot of things happening in college sports, and in college basketball for that matter. It would be a great thing. And I hope he actually goes out there and he does it. God damn, this shit is hard to do, talking to yourself. I hope y'all still out there with me. I know I'm babbling on, but I'm doing my best here. But I feel strongly about what I wrote in my piece for the blog. And again, I'd like to thank all of you guys for your comments. And like I said before, if you comment on something, I will be there to comment with you. You know, I'm not one of those that sit there and just leave y'all ghosted and stuff like that. I'm gonna be there commenting with y'all. Okay? And also, and I forgot to do this on the last show. Because there was a fight night. There was UFC fights that happened about a week or two ago. Aljamain Sterling, shout out to him from Long Island, New York. He won his fight, and he has a chance now to win a UFC title. The first Jamaican-born to win a UFC title, possibly. There's going to be a fight between Peter Yan and Jose Aldo to determine his challenger. But Dana already said his fight, the winner of that fight will face Aljamain Sterling. Shout out to him. Shout out to a Lioness. Everyone knows who that is. I forget her name right now. It's escaping me right now. But the Lioness of the women's division beat the living hell out of this poor girl. Yeah, and see, this is why Joe is needed here. Damn it. But shout out to her. She once again totally dominated the fight from start to finish. Amanda Nunes. There we go. Had a little brain fart. Amanda Nunes. From start to finish, just broke down the girl. The girl didn't even need to be mentioned because that's how bad she was beaten. You know. So shout out to the fighters in the fight game going out there trying to make a living as well. Well, that's for me. That's about it. I did the best I could. I hope y'all ride with me a little bit. Hopefully Joe will be back next week. And I'm out. Peace. Stay safe.
It just doesn't feel like summer without an ice-cold Coca-Cola in your hand. Stop by your local convenience store today and grab a 20-ounce bottle of Coca-Cola or Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Or pick up even more delicious refreshment with a 20-ounce bottle of Diet Coke, Sprite, or Fanta. So no matter how you soak in that summer sun, at home or on the go, grab an ice-cold Coca-Cola today and enjoy.
Switch to Sprint and get our best unlimited deal ever. 4 lines of unlimited for just $100 a month. Plus, we're including 4 amazing iPhone 11s on us when you trade in iPhone 6s or newer in any condition. Visit Sprint.com, call 800-SPRINT-1 or come see us in our stores. Phone after $29.17 per month credit for 18 months credit. Apply within 2 bills. If canceled early, remaining balance due. Requires new account. Unlimited basic after 7/31/21. Pay $35 per month per line with autopay. Data prioritization during congestion. Coverage and offer not available everywhere. Excludes taxes, fees, and roaming. Speed maximums. Use rules. $30 activation fee and restrictions apply.
It just doesn't feel like summer without an ice-cold Coca-Cola in your hand. Stop by your local convenience store today and grab a 20-ounce bottle of Coca-Cola or Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Or pick up even more delicious refreshment with a 20-ounce bottle of Diet Coke, Sprite, or Fanta. So no matter how you soak in that summer sun, at home or on the go, grab an ice-cold Coca-Cola today and enjoy.
Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Let's Be Real. I'm your host, Joe Mambu.
And he's your boy, Big Sharp.
What's going on, guys? So this is episode 102. Jesus, we're up to a lot of episodes now, aren't we?
We reach milestones every time we do it, brother. Every time we do it.
I know, man. All right, so this episode is called Kendrick the Sellout, and basically what it's about is Kendrick Perkins, who is now a analyst, was it for ESPN?
Mm-hmm.
Had some things to say about Kyrie Irving, you know, and his lack of a plan. So basically what it is, it was in response to Kyrie Irving saying that he kind of want to sit out for the like he doesn't want to restart the season, right? Because he feel like there's more prominent issues that's going on, and he feel like the players coming back would be, you know, it would make light of the situation of the social injustice that's going on in America. And Kendrick Perkins felt like doing that is not enough, right? Like, how are you actually going to get back to the community? How are you actually going to be effective? Like, sitting out is not enough, right? There needs to be more to the plan. And Kendrick Perkins felt like Kyrie should have consulted the president of the Players Association, Chris Paul, before he started this this faction of players who want to sit out but not really implement anything behind the sitting out. Like, what does it achieve? What does it? What would it accomplish? So obviously, Kyrie Irving is a teammate of one of the most sensitive players in NBA history.
Here we go.
And that is easy money sniper Kevin Durant. So Kevin Durant had, in response to coming to his teammates' aid, had called Kendrick Perkins a sellout. For you guys who don't know, Kendrick Perkins and KD was teammates in 2014. Obviously, the season in which Kevin Durant won MVP. So Perkins was a little bit hurt by the sellout because he feels like he is fighting the war on some front, right? But he just feels like the lack of planning by Kyrie doesn't show really leadership. And then, Kyrie, as we know, he's the vice president of the Players Association. So, I mean, Sherman, how do you feel about that?
I spoke about this last week when I did the Solo Dolo episode, and I said maybe they shouldn't be playing because of this. Because I said COVID and the social unrest were intertwining together.
Yeah,
they're intertwining, and I still stand by it. They're intertwining, and it's leading to a lot of confusion and stuff like that. But on that case alone, I feel I think really Kyrie, he was trying to speak from a perspective of like, yo, there's so much issues going on. Maybe we should really fall back and really take a look at what's going on. Because people were saying the season would be a distraction. Other people are saying, well, hey, you have a platform, you can go out there and tell people, hey, this is what we want to do and how we want to go forward with it. And it's really conflicting everything. But that sellout thing really hurt Kendrick Perkins.
Yeah.
That really hurt him because everybody black out there right now is just like, we're just trying to like get our voices heard again.
Yeah.
And it's so sad that we have to keep doing this over and over and over and over again. To now it's reaching a real boiling point.
Yeah.
It's reaching a real boiling point. And when Kendrick was saying, like, listen, I got to go out there and take my son out. He was spoken on First Take the other day. He's like, I got to go out there and take my son out there when there's out of 70 players out there for workouts and stuff like that. Yeah. He's only one of two black kids there. He got to watch his son to make sure everything's correct. Everything's going right. He said he lived in the community. I think he's the only black.
Yeah, he was talking about how uncomfortable he was in his own community and how he has to kind of have his head on a swivel where he lives at.
Right,
which is crazy to me.
It's tough. Like I've always said, all people want to do is sit down and enjoy life. We don't want to go through all this riff and all this stuff, but it happened. It's happening. Yeah. So you gotta take it for what it is.
Yeah.
And you got to maneuver the best way you can.
Yeah.
But Kendrick, I believe, I think they will resolve it soon enough. Like it's like brothers. It's KD and him, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I think KD's sister is married to Kendrick Perkins. I believe.
Oh, I don't know.
I believe, and if that's the case, I'm like,
let me do some investigative journalism.
Please, if you don't mind. But in any case, like he's like, yo, I still love you. You're still my brother.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, because things are going to be said at this height of this social thing going on right now, and things are going to be said, and I would only hope that these two can reconcile and like get them in a room, sit them down. Kendrick already said they did that one time where they had an issue before. They sat in the hotel room, they sat down, they had it out, they cried a little about it and stuff like that. And when they came out, like, yo, they became more tight. And I hope in this situation now is the same thing. I hope they can sit down and talk about wherever discrepancy there is now with that sellout comment. You can ask, hey, what you mean by that? And how can they break that down? And
I don't know. I think he knew what he meant by being a sellout.
okay, so in that case, then like just a trade like what's going on? You feel me for a sellout, and they can break it down that way.
But I'll tell you this. Kendrick Perkins has done a wonderful job finding a second career, being working part of the media, right? So the thing is, the media, the shows like basically the platform on ESPN, those shows you're able to give your opinion. I think Kendrick goes, and I love Kendrick's rawness.
Yeah,
and I love his honesty, but
it's a bit out there sometimes. But
yeah,
go ahead.
It is one of those things. It's just KD hates the media, right? And
yes.
I think the reason why KD gets on Kendrick so much is because he forgets that he was a player, right? Like it was like with Jordan in the last Dance documentary when Jordan was just throwing cats under the bus and probably broke up a couple marriages and had a couple of those former teammates' kids looking at their parents
the cocaine
differently, right?
The cocaine.
So it's like KD's looking at it from, first of all, I don't like the media. You were a brother of mine just less than 6 years ago, right? And you're spilling all the tea, right? You're so caught up in the sauce of being an analyst for whatever network and
ESPN.
Yeah, ESPN, like whatever show he's on. And then it's like he constantly he breaks the code, right? He constantly breaks the code, and I think he was Kendrick was a little bit rough on Kyrie when he said when he was like, he's a distraction, right? Because I think the thing is that I love Kyrie, and I understand he tries to be an intellectual.
He's smart. He's smart.
I think a lot of the time with Kyrie, though, it's like he's not fully thinking it through, right? Like, so I get the two the theories of thought, right? The two ideas of thought of the guys who want to play, right, who could feel like they could use that platform for every game, right, because there'll be a bunch of people watching, right? But they kind of did that. They kind of did it with the I Can't Breathe shirts. They did it in other ways, right? And I get the other thought of.
But that was then. We talk about now, now.
I hear you though. But there's things in the past that the NBA has done, right, while playing during the regular season, because this is not the first time a black person has been choked out, dying, had their neck stepped on, police brutality has been displayed, that the NBA, being the progressive league that they are, has showed their support in social injustice, right? Players, I think the nation is tired. I think people are just tired. I think the players are tired, right? This is a league that comprises of 80% of African Americans, right? 80% black players,
right?
Black, right?
Right.
Listen, some of these guys feel that taking a stand by hurting the wallet, right? Or just not even hurting the wallet, right? Because I think it's beyond that. I think it's just taking the time to be with their families, taking the time to be in support of their community, taking the time to do their due diligence. Some players just feel like playing basketball, they won't be able to do their due diligence when it comes to partaking in activities in the community, and which can make them, which can make it better, because they could use their platform. But I'm wearing an I Can't Breathe shirt while playing an NBA game, right? Before playing an NBA game, I don't think that make a difference. And I feel like some players went down that road, right? The NBA has gone down that road. What now are they going to implement? What further changes can you associate with the NBA to be like, hey, this is what they're doing to be progressive, to stop this kind of behavior from police, right? People just want to, players want to take more of the onus because they do have this platform. Social media, you know what I'm saying? Regular media, you know what I'm saying? They want to take the initiative and put these things on notice. So I get that faction of players that was like, hey, the season don't mean as much. And I commend Dwight Howard, because I know Dwight Howard.
Yeah. And I talked about Dwight Howard on the show last week too. Like he was very sincere about what he was saying. Like he so bad wants to win the championship, and he wants to win it.
He's on the tail end of his career, you know.
Yeah,
and the Lakers are doing very well.
Right. No, go ahead.
No, I'm saying the Lakers are doing very well. So there's a real chance for Dwight Howard to get his first championship. And I think Dwight Howard, who, you know, is most times, you know, associated with being a goofball, not really taking things serious. I think this crucible that he's went through as a player, right, it changed him a little bit. And he's putting a lot of things in perspective.
He's put a lot of thought into what he's saying now.
Yeah. So I think it's important, man. I just but I would want to ask you this, though. Between the two ideas of thought, between the playing and not playing, what would you find to be most effective route to be taken?
And I spoke about this last week as well. And I wrote something on the blog about this because it's a two-way street.
Mm-hmm.
One, like I said, you can play. You can get your voice out there, show them, hey, we're not going to take this no more, and play. But people will feel like it's a distraction in a sense.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, if you don't play, you're showing that it's not all about money. It's more than about money.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's about us, about what we're going through right now.
Yeah.
Maybe basketball is not a sports in general. May not be an avenue we need to take right now. Maybe we need to be sticking on this issue of black people getting beat on a consistent basis, and how can we stop it? How can we eliminate it?
Yeah.
Altogether, so we don't have to be doing this over and over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I put the post out there, and some people were like, "Hey, they should just play. Put your go out there, you know, use your platform to speak on the issues at hand."
Yeah.
Me personally, and I said it last week, I don't think they should play. Now, for like I said, for one, because of this pandemic, and this thing is getting ridiculously crazy right now, especially in Florida now. Florida has spiked.
Yeah,
they've literally spiked.
Well,
so and that's one thing of itself.
Yeah.
But on top of that, now you have this social issue for social equality going on, and I just think like maybe sports will be back. It will come back.
Yeah.
It don't have to come back right away. Of course, I would love to have. Of course, I would love to be talking about sports right now, talking about the NBA finals, or basically past the finals now. But this is more important. This carries more weight.
It does.
It really carries more weight. So, and to your point, it depends on who you are, it depends on how you feel about it.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's 50-50 on it.
Yeah, I mean, my take on it is when I first heard that the NBA season was coming back, it's great, but I didn't feel like it was necessary. Like, I was like, all right, if the season doesn't come back, it could be a wash, right? Like, it's fine. I'm totally okay with that. And, you know, like you said, this bubble in Disney that they'll be playing at, you know, Florida is spiking again, you know, isolating that much players. Imagine if, like I said in an episode a while ago, it's like a Rudy Gobert situation when you have that, not necessarily the joking around part, but you get that one NBA player that catches it, right? And then he's been around in that bubble for around everyone. It's just a dangerous situation. I get the need for owners and players who want to get back, you know, on the court for money because the NBA has lost a lot of money. But I don't think it's really worth it. I think it's mostly it's dangerous for the players, and I think if players are talking about being really active in their communities, being on the front line, I think that needs to take precedent than playing NBA games. Yes, you can have the games and you can, you know, show your support or use your platform, but I think using your platform is one thing, and being on the front lines to discuss everyday issues is another thing. And I think the NBA season should not happen so players can do that, right? You got how many players in the league? 80%. I guess that's about like
African American.
African American. Like, listen, them doing something in each of their hometowns can be an amazing thing.
Amazing thing.
And I think that is something that should be happening. The NBA, I love the NBA, but it doesn't mean that much to me as as the other stuff that's going on. So I'm all in favor for, like I said, I love Kyrie, so I don't think it's biased, but I do agree with Kyrie with sitting out. But I also agree with Kendrick saying, listen, you need a plan besides sitting out. So there has to be some type of there has to be some type of thing that's going to happen after the sitting down.
And look what Kyrie did. He indirectly sparked a conversation that needed to happen.
Yeah.
He indirectly sparked the conversation.
Yeah.
I don't think they expected it to get up like this. Not like this.
Yeah.
So now where's a conversation every day. Yeah. You hear it on sports talk, sports news talk, sports talk radio, podcasts everywhere. They didn't expect it, but it's important that it's being done at this juncture. Yeah. It's very important being done at this juncture because you get to speak, you get to have that conversation. It's a very tough conversation to have, but it's needed. It has to happen because people should not think like, oh, we're just about sports and that's about it. We're about our money and stuff like that. Yeah. It shouldn't be about that. It's like, are you a human being?
Yeah, and a lot of the times, to your point, a lot of the time people like distractions, right? Like people like the NBA coming back would be one of those things. It's like, all right, well, the world is opening back up, things is looking normal, but I think the problem is that a lot of us live our life on cruise control, right? Like there's trauma and stuff that's going on that we kind of just like to put on the back pilot, and how you get better is by dealing with it, right? You
deal with it head on.
You can't run from it. Basketball would be a nice escape. I remember when I was going through my things, man, I was at a bunch of basketball games, but what I was really doing was just escaping my problems, right? I wasn't really solving anything. I was escaping, right, when I was going through my issues, right? So with this whole pandemic, right, I sit down and I'm here. And I get to focus and do my due diligence on myself and do systems check and see what kind of man I could really be. You can't do that if you're distracted. So what I'm saying to that is what it really is, the NBA being back would be great, but it would take away from the things that need to be discussed, all the uncomfortable conversations that people need to have. And those conversations need to be had so that things can grow. Right. So if you don't have those conversations, if you don't have that mediation, there'll never be any change or any growth. It'll just be another year. And I think we to the point, especially Black people, where it's like you don't any longer want to just for it to be another year. You want it to be your year. You want to change the status quo, and I think that's important.
And progress into the next level, into the next step of equality altogether. That's what it's supposed to be about at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Now, I know it sounds crazy saying that type of thing, and all people feel like, oh, it'll never happen, but you got to do something.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, yeah. That's the thing, though. Just because it may never happen doesn't mean you shouldn't fight for it, right? Because that's the problem if you don't do anything.
I hope and quite frankly, like I'm saying, I hope it does.
Yeah.
I would love for it to. Because it'd be a beautiful place for it to get to that type of point, to get to that type of level.
Yeah, it definitely would. I mean, I would. Listen, you got to go against the grain, right? Mm-hmm. You got to sacrifice some things. I know. And I love it, the fact that these players, what I really love is that they're willing to sacrifice, right? Because they're losing money, right? And I know they'll be like, oh, they make a bunch of money, but you can't never study a man's pocket.
That's right.
You never count his coins. But some of these players are giving up a lot, right, to be out there because it's important, man. Like they just dribble a basketball for a living. You know what I'm
And
saying?
and they're putting their lives on the line during a pandemic, and I want to
Yeah,
stress that enough. They're putting their life. They're going out there. They're marching, wearing masks, putting their lives on the line because in worth of a pandemic.
yeah,
That in
yeah,
of itself says a lot to me.
yeah. It definitely does, man. But I mean, listen, is July 31st still the tentative date?
And if they do not, and here's the thing, this is what Stephen A was talking about.
Yeah,
If they don't get out there on the 31st, they said the owners can rip up the CBA and they have to start from scratch. So everything they had built from the lockouts from
yeah,
in the early 90s and on will be totally wiped out.
yeah.
But at what point it's like you have to take and you have to really think is and these players have to think. I can't think. I'm not playing the NBA. They have to think: is this sacrifice worth it? Is ripping up the CBA and killing the whole max contracts and all that stuff? Is it worth? Is it worth it?
Well,
Is it truly worth it?
yeah, that's the thing. I
Yeah.
mean, these players who are making this crazy amount of money, you got to think about the guys who aren't making that money, right? Like,
Right.
yeah. So it affects them more than it does the Damian Lillards or the LeBron James or the Kyrie Irvings. So those guys have to, the guys who aren't those guys, the mid-level exceptions and belower. I don't know.
Below. We know. Below.
Yeah, but they have to figure that out. But it's an interesting thing. I don't need an NBA season. I don't really care who's holding up the Larry O'Brien trophy. My guy has 5, so I don't really care about anybody else. But
may he rest in peace.
Word. You know what I'm saying? And all right, so the next thing we'll be talking about, all right, is the Mike Tyson biopic portrayed by Jamie Foxx. And the other day, Jamie Foxx had posted a picture somewhere. I don't know, but
I think it's on his Instagram or his Twitter.
Oh yeah, maybe his Instagram, and like he's just so he's getting ready to play Mike Tyson. Jamie Foxx is 52 years old, and he's going to be playing a young Mike, so that's going to be interesting. He's going to be playing young Mike up until, I guess, Mike, the age now. I think Mike Tyson's 53. Mm-hmm. But did you see how swole Jamie Foxx got for that role?
My man said he did 60 push-ups, 60 dips every other day.
No, he said 100 push-ups.
100 push-ups, thank you. 60 dips?
100 push-ups. I think it was 100 push-ups, 100 dips, and then 60 pull-ups.
Pull-ups, there you go.
Crazy every other day. So what's he doing on his off days? Or are those?
You gotta rest.
Days? Are those his off days? I don't know.
Yeah, you gotta rest. So you can't do that thing all straight through. Son. I mean, you can if you want to, but you gotta get some rest in between. You can't kill yourself like that, bro.
Nah, Jamie Foxx not like my man Quincy, man, who doing Jamie Foxx not like my man Quincy, who doing 100 burpees.
Oh
man,
Quincy. Shout out to brother Q out there.
Q, man, doing 100 burpees a day. That is
shout out to the Rip Right crew real quick.
Yeah, I could probably do 30 burpees in 2 hours.
In 2 hours, damn.
Yeah, no, I
stretching it out like that.
No, I could get it. I could get it in a little bit more.
Come on, so you can do it at least in 20 minutes, son.
Yeah, I could do burpees, but it's just amazing. I was like, and that's the thing. Like Jamie Foxx at 50, Jamie Foxx at 52. He's just swole, man. I just hope to look like that when I'm 52. You know what I'm saying? But what do you think about the movie, man? I mean, I know it's going to be some interesting thing. I want to know who they're going to cast as Robin Gibbons. You know what I'm saying?
Oh boy, woo!
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's what
I'm not throwing no names out there because I don't know who. I ain't gonna throw no names out there. But this biopic, listen, Jamie Foxx is uber talented.
He's super talented.
Singer, actor, comedian,
producer.
He does it all. Producer. When he did Ray, I said, is this really Ray? And I really said this. Is he really playing Ray? Is this Ray Charles really? Like,
yeah, that was a good
one. The man won an Oscar playing Ray.
Yeah.
And it was so powerful. Like, you believed it. You believed he was Ray. Mm-hmm. And he's been doing skits about Mike Tyson for years.
Yeah, he has.
ever since Jamie Foxx came on, he's been doing skits about Mike Tyson. So for me, him doing Mike Tyson is so perfect. He already does the voice. He just had to get his body up and everything like that.
He definitely looked like he's on his way though.
Yeah. Oh hell yeah. He said by the time they get to start filming, he should be about 230. And the movie's gonna make him look like he's 250.
Yeah, which is sheesh.
He's crazy. But I really feel like Jamie Foxx is gonna hit a home run with this.
Yeah,
I truly believe it. If he can do this with Mike Tyson, he's been doing Mike Tyson's voiceover, like I said, for years. So
do you think it would be as good as Will's Ali?
Listen,
because Will did a hell of a job.
Yeah,
man.
Listen, and Jamie Foxx did good when he was Bodini Brown.
Yeah,
he did a hell of a job.
Yeah,
I didn't know Bodini was like that.
Yeah,
had that charisma. I didn't know he started the rapping. Really gave Ali his rapping repertoire and all that stuff. I didn't even know that till I watched the movie.
Yeah.
But I think Jamie will portray Mike Tyson perfectly.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he's hung up with Mike plenty of times. He's got his essence and everything like that. So I feel like he can do an excellent job at this role.
Yeah.
And I believe, and I'm calling it now, he will be in the running for an Oscar again for this movie. I believe.
Okay.
The day I saw the day when I saw Ray for the first time, I said, "Yo, this man about to win a goddamn Oscar."
Yeah,
because he did it so real.
He was really good. Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah. Go ahead. All right, so before we go, what is your favorite sports movie of all time?
Jeez, put me on the spot with that one, man.
Yeah, man.
Favorite sports movie of all time. Right now, I really would say Ali. I've watched that thing.
Ali, really?
I've watched that thing so many times.
Yeah.
And like watching
over the Rockies.
I mean, come on.
The Rockies were good, man.
They were good, yeah. But the Ali, like he really captured Ali.
Yeah, that was a really good performance.
Like from the social things that was going on to the infighting, the stuff with Don King, his wives, and all that stuff. Like I really felt like he was Ali. Like, damn, Ali, he was really doing everything and everything. Like, damn.
No, you're right.
It's probably one of my favorite movies to me. What about you?
Shit, I'm gonna go. So I'm a basketball head, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna go with Glory Road.
Oh, for real?
That was really good, man. I really liked that.
Now he got game.
That was good. Don't get me wrong.
Jesus.
Yeah, but Glory Road was really good, man, because that was like a historic move, and around that time, like things were super crazy, right? So to start 5 black players, and and they just killing the game, 23-1 of the season was ridiculous, man. Just to go on to win the national championship was dope. So I can imagine the animosity they had to depict and deal with for that movie. So it was great. It was great. But guys, I want to thank you again for tuning to another episode of Let's Be Real.
One more thing before we go. As people have just seen, for the wrestling fans out there, The Undertaker has officially retired. It's from April 6th. Please check it out if you can. And to The Undertaker, I thank you for everything you've done for this business. For a fan like me watching as a kid till now, I thank you for everything. Thank you so much, Dead Man. Go ahead, sir.
All right, man. So if you have any questions and comments, make sure to hit us up on LBR. Make sure to hit us up on YouTube for this episode later, or all our episodes at Let's Be Real Sportscast. Just type that in, and
Spotify, iTunes, subscribe.
Yes, and we'll
give us 1 star, give us 5 stars, give us something though, please. Your support is needed.
Yeah, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel,
please.
And
beg it like Keith Sweat.
That's another episode in the bag, and happy Father's Day, guys.
Happy Father's Day to my pops.
Make sure that plate is on point.
Very big piece of chicken. Big piece of chicken.
All right, y'all. Peace.
Peace.
melting and it's starting to warm.
Is this for the new commercial?
This is the new commercial. We're recording. Why is it you always cut me off?
Guys, calm down. Let's just start it over.
It's too late. We have to start our show, which is Twist, the weekend sports talk, where you can hear banter like this with sports and interviews. Hear us on the RTF Sports Network, Mondays at 8 Eastern. Also, like our page on RTF Sports Network and check us out at rtfsportsnetwork.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
Are you ready? I said, are you ready? You're rocking with the heavyweight champs of sports talk.
Don't act like you're not impressed.
Brandon Way and Brandon Rudolph.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
Tune in to Opinionated Facts, Tuesdays at 6 p.m. on the RTF Sports Network. And we're back again every Sunday at 12 noon on Facebook Live.
Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Only on the Opinionated Facts Facebook page, presented by TCP Network.
En JCPenney sabemos que nos extrañas y nosotros te extrañamos aún más. Pero ¿qué pasa si te decimos que tenemos una tienda abierta todo el día, todos los días? ¡La tenemos! En jcp.com o en el app de JCPenney. ¿Quieres un traje de baño? ¡Lo tenemos! ¿Algo para estrenar este verano? También. ¿Marcas exclusivas y tus marcas nacionales favoritas? También. Visita nuestra página para los más recientes cupones y aprovecha envío estándar gratis en compras de $49 o más. JCPenney. Aplican exclusiones. Detalles en la tienda o jcp.com.
Hey, Tex, want you out your seat? What up, Floyd Central? Shout out to the Highlanders. You know what's up? See, it's all about that green and that gold. That culture that's not gonna fold.
Fighter that likes the green and the gold. Culture of greatness, young and the old. Either you fight or either you fold. We started to be great to win is the goal. Our heart on the field, you know that they hate it. This from my brothers like we was related. The fan behind us, you know we go crazy. The fans behind us, we make them go crazy. Fighter that likes the green and the gold. Culture of greatness, young and the old. Either you fight or either you fold. We started to be great to win is the goal. Our heart on the field, you know that they hate it. This from my brothers like we was related. The fan behind us, you know we go crazy. The fans behind us, we make them go crazy. On the field, it be cracking, you know that we with it. Look at our squad, I bet you start quitting. We do the scoring and we do the hitting. Full essential the name and don't you forget it. I landed the team, the green and the gold. My brothers all in. We do not fold, we take over fields when we on the road. We got the best crowd from young to the old. Cut off the leash and my dogs go crazy. Put in the work cause we are not lazy. Bro, make a play, you know that we praise it. We make a play, you know it's amazing.
Throwing that ball cause we in them trenches. Know we going cause it's 4th and inches. Can't take the heat. Stay out the kitchen. I landed the team at the top of your bench.
Fighter that likes the green and the gold. Culture of greatness, young and the old. Either you fight or either you fold. We started to be great to win is the goal. Our heart on the field, you know that they hate it. This from my brothers like we was related. The fan behind us, you know we go crazy. The fans behind us, we make them go crazy. Fighter that likes the green and the gold. Culture of greatness, young and the old. Either you fight or either you fold. We started to be great to win is the goal. Our heart on the field, you know that they hate it. This from my brothers like we was related. The fan behind us, you know we go crazy. The fans behind us, we make them go crazy.
Hey, shout out to that green and that gold. Floyd Central, Highlanders. I see y'all. Keep making those moves. Oh yeah. Shout out to the head coach, Coach Brad. The whole coaching staff, Paul, Buck, Smith, Had, McKay, Hodge. We see y'all doing y'all thing out there on the field. Oh, I can't forget about the seniors in the starting lineup. Number 2, Trace. Number 10, Calvin. Number 31, Cole. Number 4, Dan. Number 18, Seth. Number 32, JD. Number 50, Michael. Number 52, Adam. Number 73, Brett. Number 78, Gary. Number 53, Matt. Oh yeah, shout out to the rest of the squad. Let's believe it's gonna be trouble if y'all cross those lines with us. We can't forget about the best fans in the stands, the best fans in the world. Keep putting y'all hands up. Rock out with y'all, Floyd Central Highlanders. We gonna make this season a good one. It's all about that green and that gold. Culture that young and the old. Great don't fold.
At JCPenney, we know you miss us, and we miss you. So, what if we said we had a store that's open all day, every day? We do. It's jcp.com or the JCPenney app. Need a swimsuit? We've got them. Something new and cute for summer? Look no further. Exclusive JCPenney brands, plus your favorite national brands? Yes and yes. Check our site for the latest coupons. And when you spend $49 or more, standard shipping is free. JCPenney. Exclusions apply. See jcp.com for details. En JCPenney sabemos que nos extrañas y nosotros te extrañamos aún más. Pero ¿qué pasa si te decimos que tenemos una tienda abierta todo el día, todos los días? La tenemos en jcp.com o en el app de JCPenney. ¿Quieres un traje de baño? Lo tenemos. ¿Algo para estrenar este verano? También. ¿Marcas exclusivas y tus marcas nacionales favoritas? También. Visita nuestra página para los más recientes cupones y aprovecha envío estándar gratis en compras de $49 o más. JCPenney. Aplican exclusiones. Detalles en la tienda o jcp.com.
Do you love New York sports? Do you love sports in general? Join Earl Marks coming up next with Below the Mic.
Switch to Sprint and get our best unlimited deal ever. 4 lines of unlimited for just $100 a month. Plus, we're including 4 amazing iPhone 11s on us when you trade in iPhone 6s or newer in any condition. Visit Sprint.com, call 800-SPRINT-1 or come see us in our stores. Phone after $29.17 per month credit for 18 months credit. Apply within 2 bills. If canceled early, remaining balance due. Requires new account. Unlimited basic after $731.21. Pay $35 per month per line with autopay. Data prioritization during congestion. Coverage and offer not available everywhere. Excludes taxes, fees, and roaming. Speed maximums. Use rules. $30 activation fee and restrictions apply.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Number 70!
We're talking about practice.
Hello, you play to win the game. The Yankees are champions of baseball.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
3, 2, 1, happy 2000! No time on the clock, and the Patriots have won Super Bowl 36. Jordan open, Chicago with the lead!
Worldwide Sports Radio Network presents Below the Mic.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Below the Mic. We are live every single Thursday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. New York Eastern Time. As you know, you can call us at 631-965-4990. And remember, you can go to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. And ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't done this already, well, this is what you do. All you have to do is download our app. How do you do that? You go to the iOS, you put in the search key WWSRN, and if you haven't done that yet, you can also go to the Android and put in the search in the Play Store, Worldwide Sports Radio Network. I've been saying this over and over again. I don't know where you guys have been. It is a warm day here in Long Island, New York, and the humidity is absolutely terrible. I am telling you right now as we speak, I am not wearing any underwear. So I am wearing pants, but no underwear. So here in the studio, I am not wearing any underwear because of the sweat. So unfortunately, I do not like the heat. I am a much more bigger fan when it comes to fall and winter. Anyways, Speedy Petey, what's going on, my friend?
I unlike Errol, am wearing underwear, so we got that out of the way. And I finally got my haircut after you got it last week.
You actually look pretty good.
Thank you. I actually, my grandfather got one too. He was actually like you for a while. He was just waiting for the time to get one, and we never could figure it out. But
oh my God.
We both finally got our haircuts yesterday, and yep, fresh new look.
It is terrible. It is absolutely terrible, but thank God COVID-19 is starting to move forward here, and we're in, I guess you could call it the Cuomo third stage, because this is all about Cuomo and his stupidity. So we are in the third stage of the process. Hopefully soon we'll be in the fifth stage and the last stage so we can move forward with our lives and actually smell what The Rock is cooking, or smell what Errol's cooking. Anyways, as you guys know, we have a great show lined up for you guys today. At 6:30, we'll be talking to University of Arizona head baseball coach Jay Johnson. And at 7:15, we'll be talking to former Falcons Titan safety, Speedy?
Antoine Harris,
as you guys know. So that'll be a great interview. I'm sure he's going to be fun to interview, and we'll ask him about the draft, his thoughts of what is going on as far as the secondary. We will talk to him about Jamal Adams and his craziness. I'm sure he has his own thoughts to it. But as you guys know, Below the Mic has everything included, including this part of the show. Sports and Entertainment Weekly News. As you guys know, well, if you don't know, the Hawks could trade 5 players for Devin Booker. There are stories coming out right now in Phoenix that Devin Booker wants out, and there could be a team like the Hawks who has a lot of good young prospects that could make a move for a great player, one of the best great young shooters in the NBA. LeBron James, I want the betterment of people, no matter skin color. Well, if you want the betterment of people, why are you speaking about it? I think you should just stay away from the conversation. There's a lot of things going on in the world besides what is going on with the George Floyd situation. Yes, it was a catastrophe, and it should have never happened, but I think right now we have to move forward as Americans and stand together. I don't think there should be speaking about it. I do not believe you should be kneeling to the national anthem. It does not help what's going on in the world. Tom Brady continues to lead the Buccaneers workouts. Well, obviously, Tom Brady has gone out and said that he wants all the players to come to camp and work out with him, and all the players have done that. And there's good combination of great young players offensively and defensively have showed up to his workout. So that's good news for the Buccaneers. Too bad the guy is 45, 44, 43 years old. He's an old man, and I don't know how far he's going to go. The Jets are targeting tackle Collins in a Jamal Adams trade with the Cowboys. Well, obviously, the tackle Collins could move to guard if the Jets do decide to move and move Jamal Adams. The question is, how many other prospects and how many other draft picks are they going to get involved in that trade? Jamal Adams is an all-pro player. Collins is a partial all-pro player over the last couple of years. He's still fairly young. This offensive line will go from one of the worst offensive lines to the best offensive line in football if they land Collins in a trade for Jamal Adams.
Yeah, I think he was on the all-rookie team as a guard his rookie year in 2016. And he struggled a little bit at tackle last year, but he can play both, and that's always what the Jets need in versatility.
Roger Goodell says NFL plans to start training camp on time, pandemic. Well, Bleacher Report says the NFL and Roger Goodell said that the league plans to open training camps next month and plan and seemingly determine to move forward with fan attendance, which is crazy. So he's saying that he wants the fans out there. There will not be, as far as I'm concerned, audio of fans screaming and shouting in the background. There will be fans as far as he's concerned. So NFL plans 2020 must allow players and coaches to opt out. As the NFL and NFL Players Association work towards agreement, hopefully that will allow the 2020 season to be played. And an important consideration cannot be forgotten. Any players or coaches who decide that they are not comfortable participating in the season will be structured and given an option as far as their contracts are concerned. LeBron James believes the NFL still owes Colin Kaepernick an apology. Hey, LeBron, how about this apology? Shut up and worry about the NBA. That's what I say. You are not part of the NFL. You could have been a star tight end in this league, but you're not. So why are you speaking up for the NFL? Makes absolutely no sense.
Especially with other better quarterbacks, a.k.a. Cam Newton, not signed.
He's an idiot. That's what he is. And I have a lot of respect for LeBron James. Why don't you stay to your production and your TV shows or whatever the hell you're doing and stay out of the NFL? The NFL has their own options on what they want to do and how they want to move forward. And why are you bringing up Colin Kaepernick? Colin Kaepernick is no longer a part of the organization. He's no longer part of the league. And if he does come back, or if he is part of Seattle, he's not going to be a star quarterback anymore. So stay out of it. Josh Gordon expects the decision on reinstatement prior to the start of the season. Obviously, you know Josh Gordon was suspended again for drug use, marijuana use. Now, the question is, when you look at the NFL and the options right now, the NFL are bringing in marijuana as for players. Instead of taking pills, they could smoke marijuana. Is this count for Josh Gordon with all the problems he's had over the years? I don't know. The NFL is going to have to decide that with Josh Gordon.
And how disciplinary will he be? He always says he's going to do it, and then something else happens. So one can only hope he can actually stay consistent.
NBA rumors and news. The best target for every NBA team this offseason. The 2020 NBA free agent class does not have a star power or recent years, and the financial impact of COVID-19 on the players' contracts and remaining to be seen. But that doesn't mean the teams around the league won't pursue players in a bolster their rosters in another championship run. So obviously the NBA and some of the NBA teams are going to be going after big-time superstars in the offseason. It doesn't matter how much the money they've lost from COVID-19.
I think you're going to see a lot of the guys in this free agency, because of the salary cap loss, though, probably try to take the extra year and stay with their current team.
Lauri Markkanen, unlikely to reach an extension in 2020-2021. One of the best young players in the NBA for the Chicago Bulls. The question is, are they going to come to an agreement, or will he go to free agency? That's going to be a good question. And if he does go to free agency, this is one of the best young talents in the free agency market. You're talking about somebody like Kristaps Porzingis-esque, a guy that has a tremendous amount of talent, good rebounder, good offensive player, and has a tremendous amount of growth. So don't be so surprised if the New York Knicks go after a player of that magnitude if he becomes available.
I wanted them to draft him if they didn't have Porzingis at the time, so that would be interesting.
Portland Trailblazers issue layoffs on salary reductions amid coronavirus. Obviously, you're hearing that Portland Trailblazers are trying to cut costs and cut contracts right now with everything that's going on with the loss of dollars for their organization. So I'm very interested to see where they're going with that. 3 reasons why LaMelo Ball is a bad fit for the Warriors in the NBA draft. I do not believe LaMelo Ball will be going to them. I think he'll be an option for other teams. Why do they need a point guard, especially when they have one of the best young point guards in the NBA?
Yeah, we both said that Wiseman is probably the likely target, and I've also heard rumors that Anthony Edwards, the shooting guard out of Georgia, is somebody that they're targeting and they like a lot.
Andre Drummond could be great for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Obviously, Andre Drummond was traded last year to the Cavaliers from Detroit. A lot of people are saying that they might decide to move on from Andre Drummond and try to get as much back for him as far as draft stock. He is staying put. He wants to stay in Cleveland, and I believe he will be in Cleveland for the next couple of years.
Yeah, when we had the Cavs announcer, Tim Alcorn, on, he mentioned that how much he really liked the Cavaliers, despite it being a rebuilding team, which you never usually see out of star players these days.
I don't know how star-like Drummond is, but he's a good player. MLB rumors and news. Twins, Miguel Sano. It will not face charges for alleged kidnapping. Now, I don't know anything about this story, but Minnesota Twins infield Sanu, it will not face charges in his native Dominican Republic in a bizarre case involving an alleged kidnapping, according to Lavelle E. Neal, the third of Star Tribune. Prosecuting heard evidence Thursday and declined to file. So it obviously is not a kidnap case. He was kidnapping supposedly his kid. It's an interesting story. I definitely got to read that story after the show. 5 best MLB free agents. Now, there are going to be a couple of good free agents that are going to be available next offseason that also this season have been unsigned. Definitely look at some of these free agents if available sometime when it does come with the 60-game season. Some of these guys will be signed if there is partial injury to some of these players.
You wonder if they'll be traded, too. A lot of those pending free agents, if, again, they don't do well on a small sample size. MLB announced the trade deadline would be August 31st.
What if the 2019 MLB season had ended after 60 games? Well, I don't know how it would have, or if it would have, but as of right now, there will be an MLB season. And the question is, are the fans going to be excited with the 60-game season, knowing that it was cut down to a significant total? I'm talking about maybe a little bit more than a third of a season. Right. So it is not very, very good for the MLB and for the ownership paying the players 30% of their earnings. So it's not good news as far as I'm concerned. And NHL news. NHL could schedule daily triple headers if season resumes. Triple headers? That's crazy.
Yeah, I think they're trying to do it where they're trying to spread out some day games, some like mid-afternoon games, some 7 o'clock starts, and obviously the West Coast games starting at 10 Eastern like they usually do.
Carey Price needs more answers before supporting the return to play plan. Carey Price, who has been injury prone for how long?
Well, his whole career practically.
3, 4, 5 years. Why the hell does anybody care what Carey Price thinks? This is a guy that's had problems with injury year in and year out. This guy has not been a good Samaritan for the Canadians. And as good as a player that he has been as a goaltender in the NHL, he has not helped the facts of this team and this organization moving forward. And I don't know how much he has left. So, Carey Price, you need to keep your mouth shut.
He had a bad year this year, too. His GAA was over 3.1, I think.
And the latest on the eligibility for current year contracts to be signed. Well, obviously, with everything that's going on with the coronavirus, you don't know where this is going with the contract disputes and where some of these unrestricted and restricted free agents are going to be after this season? That's going to be a question for Gary Bettman to answer after this crazy season. And that is it for the sports and entertainment for this week for Below the Mic. Great show lined up for you guys. Like we said, we are going to be talking to University of Arizona head baseball coach Jay Johnson in just a few minutes. Speedy, but we wanted to get into a particular subject, and one of the subjects you wanted to get into in this show was what?
The NFL biggest draft busts at certain positions. So this could be all time. I mean, obviously you watched more football before that. So we'll just alternate positions. What do you think are some of the biggest NFL draft busts at each position, and maybe some that are forgotten about?
Well, I don't know if you're a Jet fan, and if you are a Jet fan out there, I don't think you're going to forget about Vernon Gholston, who was a complete bust as a defensive lineman, did nothing for the New York Jets. I think he had 1 sack and about 3 or 4 tackles in his career. This guy was a top draft pick. He was a top 10 draft pick. I think the Jets drafted him at the 4th pick from Ohio State. He was a complete bust, absolutely horrendous. Also, Ryan Leaf. Ryan Leaf was a complete bust as a quarterback. He was drafted after Peyton Manning, if you guys remember, and he had drug problems off the field, and this guy is in and out of jail. I think he just got out of jail. I mean, he was a complete bust as a quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, two that come to mind for me. I'll do one offense, one defense. Defensively, Aaron Curry was definitely one of them. A big-name linebacker out of Wake Forest. I believe it was the 2009 draft for the Seahawks, who normally draft defensive players as well, but they definitely did not in that draft. Aaron Curry, I really liked a lot. He really did not do anything, especially on a good linebacking core like they had. So that's one definitely for defense. And then offensively, receiver, 2013 draft, Tavon Austin was definitely a huge bust. Everyone thought his speed was going to make a difference at the next level in a faster game, and obviously that didn't happen because all he had were drop problems. He was basically Robbie Anderson that could line up as a running back.
Well, as a Jet fan, I've looked at some of these teams and some of these rosters that the Jets have had over the years. Here's another bust, Milliner, who was drafted from Alabama.
I was wrong on him. Yeah.
He was an absolute complete bust. He couldn't do anything on the field. After the Jets, I don't even think anybody signed him. How about the Louisville Slugger, Calvin Pryor?
Yeah.
Another guy that was a top draft pick who came to the Jets. Everybody was talking about how great of a tackler he is and how he knocked people out on the field when he played for Louisville. And then all of a sudden he came to the New York Jets, and he was in and out of the New York Jets organization within 3 years. So those are another 2 players that were complete busts. Right. And of course, New York Jets.
A lot of the 2013 first round, if you look back at it, it was really bad. So the Jets weren't the only one, but again, that was a bad one. Another corner that drafted the year after that was highly touted and became a bust. Naturally drafted by the Browns. Justin Gilbert was another one. I think he most recently played at the Steelers. He played okay there, but again, not great. He was a high-profile corner out of Oklahoma State, but he never got it done. And he's just one of the many laundry list of Browns that didn't get it to work. And in a 2014 draft that was loaded, that's surprising. And then the second pick of the 2014 draft, an offensive lineman, probably the biggest O-line bust, was Greg Robinson.
Who's the guy that Jacksonville drafted, the quarterback that they drafted a couple of years ago?
Bortles or Gabbert?
Gabbert. I mean, Blaine Gabbert, who's still in the league, and Bortles, who's going to be a backup and probably won't be in the league this year. 2 quarterbacks that were completely busts. And you're talking about Jacksonville. These guys, Gabbert was the number 1 draft pick, right?
I loved him out of the draft. I was very wrong on him.
I mean, he was the number 1 draft pick, and he was a complete bust. And even though he's had better opportunities as a backup quarterback as he's moved forward in his career, this guy, complete bust. This was the number 1 pick in the draft, and he was complete bust. And Blake Bortles, forget about it. I mean, I don't know what the heck. And by the way, Matty Caps, who absolutely loved Blake Bortles. He hated Andy Dalton, who's still in the league, who could be starting for the Cowboys this year and has had success in the NFL. You're talking about Blake Bortles. What success has he had in the NFL? And don't tell me about that playoff run, because it had nothing to do with Blake Bortles.
Yeah,
nothing.
You know what's interesting is with Jacksonville, they've been one of the worst drafting teams, too. They tend to reach on a lot of players just from the fact that they're being from Florida.
Not defensive players. They've been very well.
Derek Harvey was one.
Yes.
2008, he was a bad draft pick for them. Dante Fowler.
He's a good player.
He was all right.
Injury. Remember, he tore his ACL.
Yes, he never played in his rookie year. But again, he was really just a speed rusher. I thought they reached on him a little bit in that draft.
Still a good player in the NFL.
But it seems like they'd like to reach on a lot of Florida players. And again, Bortles being the worst of them, obviously, in that draft. Because Bortles, I don't think was ever thought of to go that high. Everyone was hyping up Manziel. Everyone was hyping up Bridgewater in that draft. Bortles was supposed to be more of that late first-round pick type. So that was definitely very interesting. Definitely another receiver to look at, oddly enough, the Jaguars, is Justin Blackmon. Now, Justin Blackmon off-field issues obviously cost him more than actual playing, because we don't know what he would have been playing-wise. But again, the Jaguars, it's the Jaguars. They love to gamble on stuff like that when it comes to the off-field issues, and hence they don't draft well as a result. So that's another one for me in that draft. And then in that same 2011 draft,
right.
The other quarterback that was taken was Jake Locker. Now, Jake Locker is somebody I thought that got a little bit of a raw deal, but again, he didn't produce like he was supposed to either. The Titans front office was bad to an extent, but again, they could have taken Cam Newton was in that draft, and then like you were saying, Dalton was in that draft, who was again decent starting quarterback, not great. So the Titans definitely gambled and lost on that.
Bust in 1995, Kijana Carter, the running back who was a top running back in college football. He was a top draft pick, a first overall pick in 1995. You're talking about a running back that was the number one pick, and he was a complete bust by the Bengals. He was absolutely, and when you look at him, he tore his ACL, and really how his career just progressed, even not with the Bengals, with other teams and other organizations. He just couldn't find his way, and that's the problem when you look at Kijana Carter. Also, we mentioned Ryan Leaf, so I'm looking at some of the players. I'm skimming through some of the busts, and Tim Couch was a bust, first overall pick in 1999, who was a fairly good quarterback with the Browns, but he also played for one of the worst organizations.
Right.
And if he played, maybe if he was drafted by another team, another organization, maybe we wouldn't be talking about Tim Couch as being a bust. But right. Tim Couch Jake Locker, by the way, you're absolutely right, Carl. He was absolute garbage. Jake Locker, who wasn't even I think he was a second or third round draft pick.
He was the first round pick. I think he was 8th overall. Yeah, I think he was picked.
Jake Locker?
Yeah, he was.
I didn't
but
know
again,
that.
his injuries he was always thought of as more the raw but could be talented type of quarterback. But again, his injuries and the Titans' bad front office decisions cost him big time. You mentioned the Kijana Carter. Another one for the Bengals is Akili Smith, the running quarterback. I forget which draft it was exactly, but he was highly touted as a running quarterback, flashy running quarterback, and he definitely never got it going in the NFL.
How about Vince Young? I mean, Vince Young, who was the third overall pick. You remember what he did, with Texas, with Texas, and what he did against the USC team. Matt Leinart, his last season.
Talk about another one.
We'll get into that too, because I liked Matt Leinart when he was coming out of USC, and I thought he was going to be successful, just like when we saw Palmer, when Carson Palmer got drafted. We thought, hey, now maybe they'll have a spurt of good young quarterbacks that come out of USA. But ever since then, you look at it, it's been completely terrible when it comes to it. But Vince Young, who really did not develop as a quarterback in the NFL, he was the prototypical running quarterback that can make throws on the run. Everybody thought he was going to be a great player coming out of Texas, winning the national title. He was a complete bust. Also, Jamarcus Russell, absolutely, Carl. He was absolutely a catastrophe for the Oakland Raiders. We're talking about, when you look at that draft and how many good players that came out of that draft.
Players out of that draft.
Jamarcus Russell was a complete bust. One of the worst players out of the draft, one of the heaviest players to come out of that draft when you're talking about a quarterback who was drafted at 280 pounds. I mean, absolutely horrendous draft pick.
I think he tried to play after that in Canada or some other country.
Yeah,
and
CFL.
He was, I think, 312 pounds as a quarterback, which the only other one I saw that do was Jared Lorenzen, who backed up the Giants for a while.
And you mentioned Matt Leinart. Matt Leinart, who was the 10th overall pick in 2006 by the Arizona Cardinals. If you look at the draft picks, Arizona in the last 30 years, last 20 years.
They're on and off.
Yes,
Arizona,
their draft picks have been absolutely horrendous when it comes to the quarterback position.
Oh, absolutely.
I think Kyler Murray has been a fairly good draft pick so far. What we have to see his development and his skills in that offense. He's got one of the best wide receivers in football, so we'll see how he develops with arguably one of the best wide receivers in football. But Matt Leinart was a complete bust. Carl, you're absolutely right. I'm trying to go up and down with some of the picks that he says.
Kevin White,
David Terrell.
David Terrell.
Yes, David Terrell was a complete bust. If you remember, he was the number 7 pick by the Bears. And we all know that Carl is a Bears fan. So he was absolute trash for the Bears as well. So there has been so many busts. And I'm looking at some of the busts that they have. Vernon Gholston, obviously, I'm looking at the bust. Number 14, I think he's one of the worst picks for the New York Jets. Aaron Curry. How about him?
I mentioned him earlier. That's the linebacker I mentioned. He was as highly touted as a linebacker as anyone ever got.
How about Trent Richardson?
Yep. That's a
your
good name.
third overall pick, and if you remember, he was drafted by the Browns, and then he went into Indianapolis, and Indianapolis traded 2 first-round draft picks for arguably one of the best running backs drafted in draft history.
They traded the pick to the Browns that turned into Johnny Manziel, so we know how that trade worked out for both teams.
I mean, Trent Richardson and Johnny Manziel, you mentioned that, who I thought was going to be electrifying quarterback in the NFL, a complete bust, not only on but off the field, the cocaine accusations, the things that he has done off the field. He got in trouble with the NCAA of signing autographs and taking money from distributors. So unfortunately, Johnny Manziel just couldn't even find his way off the NFL field on different fields, if you know what I'm talking about.
Right, and then he had the domestic violence case later out.
With his girlfriend.
When he was in the CFL,
Yeah, so a complete bust also. And I remember when, what's his name again from Alabama, the coach?
Nick Saban.
Nick Saban said that Johnny Manziel was the best quarterback he's ever played against in college football history. And you're talking about all the different quarterbacks that he played against and guys that are in the NFL now and successful quarterbacks. Nick Saban said Johnny Manziel was the best, and look how bad Johnny Manziel turned out to be.
Any quarterback that beats Alabama is in rare company, and he did it twice.
Poor Nick Saban, who really was not successful in the NFL. Maybe he should stay in the NCAA. Yeah. Anyways, when we come back, we'll be talking to University of Arizona head baseball coach Jay Johnson here on Below the Mic.
It's the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
631-965-4990. As you guys know, this is Below the Mic. We are live every single Thursday from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. New York Eastern Time. And remember, guys, if you didn't know, you can follow us by going to our website at www.worldwidesportsradio.com. Jillian and Ricky have been very, very aggressive on reaching out to coaches all over college sports, and they absolutely nailed on this one. We are now talking to University of Arizona head baseball coach Jay Johnson. What's going on, Jay?
Doing great. How you guys doing today?
We are very, very good. How are you and your family doing right now with this crazy stuff that's going on in this pandemic?
Yeah, thank you. We're all good and we're healthy. I think we'd all feel better about it if we were playing baseball or, being able to, watch some sports. The NBA playoffs, I think, would be going on or being full scale right now. So hopefully we can get back to normal at some point, but in the grand scheme of things, health-wise, we're doing great. So thank you for asking.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into some of the information about your team and the Arizona baseball. Tell us a little bit about the growth of Arizona baseball since you've taken over. They won in 2012, and really the growth of the game, especially college baseball. Tell us a little bit about your team and the growth of your school.
Yeah, thank you. You mentioned Arizona had won the national championship in 2012 and then kind of had 3 down seasons, 13, 14, and 15. A lot of things contributed to that. And then after that, I was hired in June of 2015. And going into the 2016 season, we weren't thought very highly of. Picked to finish 10th out of 11 in the Pac-12 and really got off to a good start. Persevered through the middle of the schedule, got hot at the end of the year, made it to the College World Series and College World Series finals, came up short, won a bunch of games the next year and got to a regional and have had a good 4-year run here. And we're disappointed certainly with the pandemic ending the 2020 season early. Like a lot of coaches and teams, we felt good about our team and thought it was another Omaha caliber type group. But on the bright side, we had a couple players drafted to New York, actually, in the Major League draft, and we're excited about that and their success and where we're headed in the future.
Talk about in that 2016 season, when did you feel like this team could do something big and do something surprising? Was it later in the season, early in the season? Was it something that it took one hot streak? When did you start to feel this team could actually make noise in the Pac-12 and in the College World Series?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the fall was interesting in the sense of we were really trying to kind of find ourselves. Players get familiar with the coaches with the players, new program, new system, all of those types of things. And the fall wasn't very good, to be honest with you. If I told you I thought that was a Omaha caliber team, I would have been lying through my teeth. But then when we came back from Christmas break and we're preparing for the season, there was kind of a different feel, confidence, like, hey, maybe we're a little better than we thought. And we just focused on the play, improving on a daily basis. We had a really tough non-conference schedule and got some really good wins under our belt early, and then built some confidence, started playing really well at the end of the season. And then once we got to the postseason, and none of the players in the program at that point had played in the postseason, it was almost like we were playing with house money and played extremely aggressive, won a regional, won a super regional at Mississippi State, and really played well all the way up until the very end of the College World Series finals, and fell to a good Coastal Carolina team. But it's a good group and built a good foundation that we're being able to still build off of right now.
We are talking to University of Arizona baseball head coach Jay Johnson. Jay, I've asked a lot of coaches this. When you go in and you're recruiting players, you go into a person's house and you're talking to somebody's families, these families, you're talking to their brothers, their sisters, their aunts, their uncles, and they're all sitting there with the player. How do you sell Arizona, not only the school, the Wildcats, as a baseball team, but the school as a whole? How do you sell that to the player and their families?
Yeah, I really view the University of Arizona as a total package place, and we're very fortunate in that regard. If you're in an airport in the United States, whether it's out in New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, if somebody walks through with a red shirt with a block A on it, that's the University of Arizona. And it has a great tradition of academics, very diverse school, very good in a lot of different fields. Where people have moved on and been successful, and certainly a national brand athletically. When you think about our basketball program, Coach Miller does a terrific job. Had good stints of success in football. Our softball program is one of the 2 or 3 best in the country, and baseball. We won 4 national championships, been to Omaha 17 times, and really have been a training ground for players to achieve their dream of playing professional baseball someday. And so it's really something that when you go into these recruiting meetings, it's almost it's exciting, because you can put some things in front of players and families that are really beneficial for their future, that they're going to benefit from being a part of our program and university, and be very transparent and true about it. And we've had good recruiting success, just bringing in another good class coming here in the fall, and that we're really excited about. And it's one of those universities that it's easy to work for in that regard.
A lot of other sports, you see Arizona schools, both your team and Arizona State, your big rival, stealing a lot of recruits also from California and Nevada, especially in football. Do you see that kind of thing going on with baseball, where you're seeing a lot of out-of-state recruits wanting to go to Arizona?
Oh, for sure. And I mean, you just mentioned 2 areas that are, our primary focus areas. The number of high quality baseball players in the state of California is remarkable, and we wouldn't be doing our jobs effectively if we weren't mining it for talent, if you will. Now, what I did when I got to Arizona, and actually I believe it was one of the reasons I got hired at Arizona, was when you looked at Arizona's best teams historically, there was a heavy presence from the state of California, and particularly Southern California. So we've tried to duplicate that, and it's been a good model for us to this point in time, and one we will continue to. You mentioned Las Vegas. I've had a lot of success, recruiting the Las Vegas area. I've recruited some major league players that have played for me at other stops in my coaching career. And, we're one of the bigger schools, around the Las Vegas metro area that is a destination place. So, and then in state, there's a lot of great players within the state of Arizona. So you kind of just hit our three happy hunting grounds, if you will. So,
Coach, we let the fans ask questions, and one of our fans loves to ask questions to some of the different people we've had on the show. Carl wanted me to ask you, your thoughts on pitchers having to use wet rags for the grip of the ball instead of licking their fingers. What are your thoughts to that?
Well, it probably depends on, is the pitcher on my team or the opponent's team? Hey man, in college baseball, when you have good pitching, that's your staple. You're going to have a good season if you have a good rotation, good guys at the back end of the game. And I was a hitter, an undersized second baseman, and don't know all the tricks of the trade that pitchers use as far as doctoring up the ball or this or that. But we like guys that can throw strikes, low strikes, move the ball in and out, change speeds, and we kind of just focus on that. So I don't know if I have a comment for Carl there.
As you guys know, we are talking to University of Arizona head baseball coach Jay Johnson.
Talk about the Pac-12 as a whole, just as a conference. We know it all the time as the conference of parity. They call themselves the conference of champions, but we see a lot of crazy games within other sports, and definitely with baseball too. We've seen a lot of strong schools. Definitely, I would say among the Power 5 conferences, definitely in the top 3, and some years is number 1. Do you see that kind of thing in baseball where you see these crazy games, road wins, stuff like that within your programs, both year to year and, again, recently?
Yeah, for sure. I think what you just said, too, is there is probably not a sport where home field advantage is as prevalent. And I think part of that has to do with the distance that we travel. I mean, we are for sure on the southernmost end of the league, and at times we're flying up to Seattle or Pullman, Washington, and going to Salt Lake City, Utah, the Bay Area, Oregon State. That there's a lot of home field advantages, including ours at High Corbett Field. We've been tremendously successful at home. I think what separates the Pac-12 and baseball, and we were just kind of talking about the geography of where elite baseball players come from. There's so many in our region that everybody has enough to have a good team and beat you on any given day. And you mentioned the word parity. I think it really rings true in baseball. I think, Oregon State's been good, won the national championship in 18. We played for it in 16 and won it in 12. In 13, UCLA won it. And we always seem to, once our teams are in the postseason, perform extremely well. Stanford's had a couple good years in a row. So you don't look at the schedule and go, that's a win. I can tell you that. You have to play well. It's not always the team with the best players, but the team that plays the best that day. And it makes for great competition. And if you ask me what I missed the most about the pandemic, the first thing would be the opportunity to be at the players on a daily basis and help them develop. And then second is the competition, just because our league is so good in terms of the quality of coaches and players and the product that is Pac-12 baseball.
Well, Coach, I'm a Yankee fan, okay? And I grew up a Yankee fan, Don Mattingly fan, and I'm trying to scout different players, especially when you're looking at players that were drafted by the New York Yankees. And there's a particular player that the Yankees drafted in the first round who you coached, Austin Wells, who the Yankees over the years have drafted and found great catchers. Jorge Posada, now they have Gary Sanchez. Tell us a little bit about this kid and why this kid is going to be a star in the MLB.
Yeah, good choice by the Yankees. Austin is a terrific player, terrific talent. He's one of the best hitters I've ever coached. I would probably put him number 2 on that list next to Chris Bryant, third baseman for the Chicago Cubs. And Austin's special. I think he's going to really take advantage of that short right field porch in Yankee Stadium. He hits high-level pitching extremely well. He takes professional at-bats, has great strike zone discipline. So he's got that unique ability to have a great on-base percentage, hit for average because he's got such a quality swing, and drive the ball over the fence. And so I think when that time comes, Yankee fans will be extremely happy to have Austin in the pinstripes. And he's really developed as a catcher as well, really improved as a receiver, a blocker, a thrower. And I think it's exciting because if he continues his ascent as a catcher, then that'll be his spot, but he's a good enough athlete to play first base, left field, and he's a good enough hitter to play any position on the field. So I think you and all the rest of the Bronx Bomber Nation will be extremely happy once Austin gets to the big league.
Well, if he's a better catcher than Gary Sanchez, we'll be very happy, even though I love Gary. I love him, and I think they're eventually going to move him to first base. But when I heard that the Yankees were going to bring in another catcher, I was researching this guy, and then I found out that we're talking to you, and you're his coach, and you're the one who scouted this kid before he went over there to Arizona. So I wanted to know your opinion. Also, the Yankees drafted Trevor Hauer. Is it Hauer or Hauer? Hover. Tell us a little bit about the second baseman. They drafted at number 99 in the third.